Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel. I'm here for Queen & Co. today. I want to show you the brand new CandyLand Kit. It's perfect for any type of sweet card from birthdays to Valentine's Days. And I'm going to show you everything that's included in the kit as well as create these two different shaker cards. Okay, so first up in the kit is the CandyLand Matte Stack. This is a 6x6 double-sided pad. You can see that the A side has some colorful rainbow candy themed and the B sides are very versatile. These are all the dies included in the kit. You get the lollipop, the small sucker, and 2 candy jars as well as labels and a little dot as well. And there's an entire clear acrylic stamp set. It has everything from candies to stamp inside and labels to stamp. You get a bunch of the foam shapes. These are all die cut for you already, as well as acetate to create your shakers. And you get several of each shape. These are the toppings that you have to choose from. There's a ton of toppings in this kit, and I love these little sprinkles, those round flat sprinkles. They are so cute. There's also fibers that make great cotton candy. So to create this lollipop card, we're going to first die cut one of the papers from the 6x6 matte stack with that lollipop die. And you can see that the lollipop and the stick are both together in one die. So I cut them out of 2 different colors so that I could have the lollipop stick be a different color than the actual lollipop. And then I created a shaker that I'm going to show you how to do the shaker with the next card, but I created a shaker and put a couple of goodies inside there so that it would shake around. I also stamped the Hey Sweetie stamp set, and then I cut the lollipop stick in 2 pieces so that I could put the sentiment in between. And now I'm just taking one of the stamp set's stamps is this small little gumball, and I'm just stamping it in a rainbow of colors all around the lollipop to create my own background, which of course you could use some of the pattern paper. I wanted to have a lot of white space on this background because the lollipop itself has got that rainbow paper and then all the shakers inside. I wanted something that was going to be rainbow but also kind of have a lot of white space too. So I'm just going to add some pink gumballs. I'm using the Fawn ink pink flamingo for this color, and I'll have all the ink colors that I used linked down below so that you can check them out if you're interested. And you can see that some of the gumballs I'm stamping off to the side, and a couple of them, because I already created the shaker, it was hard to get them where I wanted them with the acrylic block. So you'll see that I take that little gumball off the acrylic block several times, and I just put it on the edge of my finger, and it stuck just fine for a second, just enough to ink it up. Here, I'll do it right now. Just enough to ink it up and then stamp it down really close to that shaker. Of course, you have to kind of be careful because your finger is not an acrylic block, and so it can kind of smush it a little bit, but I think this worked out just fine. For this second card, we're going to create 2 different candy jars on one card. So I'm going to have a horizontal card. So I'm cutting all of the candy jar shapes. It's 2 lids and 2 jars out of a 6x6 pattern paper from the matte stack. This is the one sort of neutral paper in the matte stack. It's like a gray pattern. So I thought it would be perfect for the candy jars. The nice thing is it goes along perfectly with all the really colorful papers that are included in the matte stack. So I'm also going to cut just the jars themselves, not the lids, out of a yellow polka dot paper so that I have those interior pieces to use with the candy jars, and you won't necessarily have to see the color from my card panel. I'll show you what I mean right now. I'm going to layer 2 pieces over each other. One is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. One is a tiny bit smaller, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment at the bottom in black ink. It says, "I hope your birthday is sweet," which I think is perfect for these little candy jars. And I am using my MISTI to stamp my sentiment because I wanted to make sure that I got it just right since I already layered those pattern papers. And the MISTI allows you to stamp it again without messing up or smudging it. So now I'm going to use a little bit of white cardstock and I'm going to stamp both of the different label shapes. You can see there's that sort of artesian one, and then there's a really cute oval that has a tiny little scallop around the edge as well. And all of these sentiments fit in pretty much both of the labels, so you get to pick and choose. But there are some oval ones that fit perfectly inside that little oval label, and then there are some ones that are more centered that fit perfectly in that little artesian shape. So I'm going to choose a couple of those, and I'm just going to again stamp those in black ink as well. You could definitely do these labels on the pattern paper. Some of those B-sides would be perfect, but I really liked the black and white look of these labels on the very colorful jars and backgrounds. I'm just using a little bit of the Spectrum Noir shimmer pens. These are those shimmer markers to color in the little gumdrops. This one says Goody Goody Gumdrops on the sentiment, and I just wanted both of those little gumdrops colored in. So it's going to be hard to see in camera, but they will have color because one is purple and one is pink, but they will also have a nice shimmer shine. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do is cut out these little labels. So I'm going to use my Sizzix again. I'm going to put the little label die down on the outside of the label, and then I'm going to use just a tiny little piece of washi tape to hold it in place to make sure it doesn't shift around while I'm sending it through the die cut machine. And these are really easy to line up. You should have no problem doing that. If I can do it, anybody can. That's one of the things I often struggle with, but I had no problems with these guys. So look at how cute those little labels are. Okay, now we have all of our die cut pieces and we have our foam shapes that were included in the kit. I'm going to pop out the centers of those foam shapes and kind of just line them up to see where they're going to fit with the sentiment. You can see that the outside of the shaker, the pattern paper that we cut out, sits a little bit lower than the foam shaker itself. So once I take off the backing and adhere that foam shaker down, see again that little pedestal foot there sits lower than the foam shaker. So I'm going to remove the backings of these and adhere them down to the card panel. And then I'm going to put a little bit of tape runner on the back of the pattern paper that I cut out for the insides of the jars. I just like the way that looks. You could obviously just leave it the same color as the card panel, but I thought it was fun to have it a different color inside there. So the next thing that we're going to do is I already added some EK Success powder tool to the edges that just keeps the little goodies from sticking. Now I'm going to put in some of the toppings to shake around. And for this one, I'm just doing the little green and white little candy balls there that are so cute. I peel off the top protective layer and then put down the acetate, which is already die cut for you. You don't have to worry about that. Then I just need some tape runner on my pattern paper die cut piece and lay it down on top of the shaker. I did decide to put a little piece of foam adhesive behind the foot there because I wanted to pop it up with the rest of the shaker. Now I'm going to take some of those cotton candy fibers and fit them inside that larger candy jar. I am going to peel off the top, then place in the fibers, just stuff them in there, and then put the acetate on top, and you can see I had some fibers sticking out, so I just trimmed them off the side there. Put a little tape runner on the pattern paper that I cut out to create the jar. And now it's time to add the lids. So again, you could just put regular tape runner and adhere the lids down, but since the jars themselves are all popped up, I decided to put a little foam tape behind the lids so that they would have the same dimension as the candy jars. And I really like the way that looks. Just super, super cute. Isn't that adorable? I wish I had a candy jar like that in my house. I think it would look super cute. So I'm going to do the same thing for this jar. I'm going to just cut a little strip of foam adhesive using some nonstick scissors so that I can fit it behind the candy jar. This one I kind of wanted tilted, like it was slightly open. So I put one side of the lid sort of tucked behind the jar, and then the other side I popped up on foam adhesive. And I thought it would be fun to stick a little bit of the fibers coming out of the jar, like somebody had just pulled some of the cotton candy out and it was just still all wispy and coming out of the jar and the lid was still open. Kind of be one of those things where you would catch your kids after, they left it that way. So I'm going to figure out how much fiber I can fit there to make it look as natural as possible. And then I'm just going to take a Thermoweb Zots, which is just a adhesive dot, and just stick it down and put the fiber right on top. Next, I'm going to take some Memory Runner XL, which is a tape runner, and adhere my panel down to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch side folding note card. I'm going to use the same tape runner to adhere my labels right on top, and that completes my second card. These shakers are so much fun to make, and they're also super, super easy to create because everything that you need is included in the kit. So I hope you will check out the CandyLand Kit. I will have that linked down below. You can hit subscribe here to my channel. You can check out my blog, and I'll have a couple of other videos, some Queen & Co videos and shaker videos for you here as well. I want to thank you so much for stopping by today. Have a great day.